How was that for a kickoff? InShalla and Ashe. It's a wisdom of Wednesday. Loving the signs there, right? In the eye, the third eye. Do you have that loving feeling? Feeling love cascading throughout your day? Are you in the midst of creating something that literally lights up your heart, shines up your sun? The foundation of manifestation comes through what we love. And in order to manifest, the foundation of creating or creation comes from that loving feeling, planting that seed. It's a sensation that is heartfelt love. And we know what that feeling feels like, right? However, it does sound simple, and most of us want to manifest, right? From a space that is actually outside of ourselves. Feelings carry a frequency like an adjective, adding to our heart center. Whatever you add to your chalice, whatever that looks like, the feeling of love incarnated should be the element of loving the creation. Self-love is actually the greatest asset, but how many of us are authentically loving ourselves from the inside to the outside? And sometimes loving outside of ourselves is outside of the chalice, if that makes sense. So we generally speaking aren't heart-centric, loving it. Home is the foundation of love. That is our environment. That's why cleansing the environment is a loving feeling. We feel lighter, we feel brighter, and the fold is committing to that feeling of loving ourselves first. When clearing that environment, we are cleansing and recalibrating. So our feelings to be aligned within our heart's chalice. So with that, welcome to the daily snippet. I'm going to see if I can add on another stream here real quick. Hopefully the universe allows for this. Hang on, I gotta figure this out. I did a hiccup, but that's okay, right? Oh, there we go. Sending the stream. Are we there? Are we live? Oh, goody, we are. Okay, sorry, homepage, I'm leaving you. Maybe it ended. I don't know. Here we go. We'll see. Okay, well, welcome to the daily snippet. I had a little energetic hiccup there. I like to multi-stream in multi-areas, and today I forgot to switch the grid. But I am your host. I'm a practicing holistic shaman and medium, an otherworldly life coach, a subtle energetic surgeon, if you will, coined by my mentor, my friend, Elder Melodoma Somei of the Dagara tribe in Dano, West Africa, who is actually now part of the ancestor realm. Blessings to you, my friend. But I do go by the term holistic sha'medium, and my intention is to utilize the power of these indigenous ways, these technologies, the ways of my elder. The elemental realms, our original divine blueprint to navigate our soul's harmonic through the realms of the elementals, the elemental highway. That was actually my beginning realm, into the imaginal realm through the shamanic portal, our eighth energetic center, the cosmos, the subtle energies, elements, and elemental beings, and really so much more. With offerings, prescriptions, and rituals to really add to your juice, to your container, the ingredients, your personal medicine, your prime directive. But my intention truly is to authentically heartfelt, star-shining optimism, to merge the wisdom of these indigenous ways, traditions with the subtle realms, the etheric highway, bringing energy to matter to assist you into navigating your inner genius, your personal medicine, the star that I authentically believe we all are. Just introducing you to the magical being that resides within each and every one of us, so our starlight shines even brighter. My name is Tonya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. It might be getting a makeover soon. I'm feeling the waves. However, the tidal waves of emotions, as the day progresses, the planet of love, the goddess herself, is moving into the chalice of our mind, our solar plexus. So it's a great idea to use words that are self-loving, self-protecting, inner feelings of love, feelings about love that may not even be our own, those conditioned feelings of what love is. So literally bow to your heart today and allow those heartfelt feelings to be expressed, to be updated. Take notes, if you will. So you may find yourself reaching out to your feelings that are trying to express that heartfelt love. So do something again that feels loving to you on the inside, and creating a response to what you feel, coming from a space of love, filling into the heart's chalice. That inside voice may need personal protection from outside forces that are less than loving, people darting words at us, right? But if you have yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, authentically, please do, heartfelt, Tonya D, and hit the bell button so you're notified. And if you don't mind commenting or sharing, that will actually get you a message for your day to get you on your way out into the highway. But it also echoes me out to like-minded users, helps setting the stage for the algorithm out into the galactic universe. For other people who may muse about insights of the other world, the world of spirit, source, the beings that are otherworldly or elementally, and so much more. But you can also find me on other social platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and my Musing with Tonya D podcast. If you have yet to grab that, it's all about the Archangel Gabriel and the season of Cancer. And also, if your soul wishes to dive in deeper into the realms of the other world, head on over to my Musing Corridor. This is where I house my digital library, where I have some amazing options to assist you, to guide you. Really, I am your shamanic assistant. You truly are your own healer. I believe that wholeheartedly. Just a few quick announcements. If you are new to my show, the Otherworldly podcast for the season of Cancer is on the highway. Gabrielle, be sure to tune in, take a pic, and tag me if you don't mind. And my monthly meditation circle is the first Sunday of the month. You can register at tonyad.tv. That is at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So if you are feeling the love to subscribe to my Musing newsletter, to be in the knowing, there's always that option as well. But our heart is taking center stage today. The heart center, feeling into the chambers of our chalice. Are you feeling the feels of what really lights up your heart? Being in the flow of the feelings. Feelings never lie. And we know when we feel sad, and we know when we are filled with laughter. So do you ever find yourself doing a heartfelt belly laugh when you are alone with yourself? I mean, that's the inner giggle of the heart lighting us up. And I laugh at myself all the time. Actually, I'm pretty hilarious in my own mind. But the Cancer season is all about our feelings. It's our inner child, that inner childlike wonder, just nurturing the baby, the toddler inside of us. So this is something we do in our inner world, feeling the sacred love, the nurturing love that we do have for ourselves. So you may find yourself musing about how you feel about self-love. So listen and tune into your feelings. There's no need to dam them up. Just allow them to be bubbly like a spring. And being egocentric, we often become triggered when our emotional field is stirring, or sometimes being emotional triggers people outside of us. They don't want us to express our feelings, which is the worst thing ever, because they get embarrassed or whatever the thing is. Have you seen parents when their kids are like screaming in a restaurant? They're like, ah, it is what it is. What do you do, right? But it's emotion, it's energy, it needs to be expressed. So when those are swirling around, again, just imagine a child or a toddler who is upset and those emotions are triggering something inside of them and their heart isn't able to express them. So they're emoting. It's just a different language. And the outside forces are usually feeling it as well, but those emotions need to be nurtured. And we often don't allow ourselves to feel due to those outside forces of adversity. So feelings are their own force of nature. They can be all-consuming. You may be feeling waves of emotions, all of them, the good, the bads, and even the perceived ugly. My one client always says that she's an ugly crier, when I'm like, oh, there's a message in the emotions, right? There's a revelation or an unwrapping possibly in our outer world today. That's kind of what's streaming in, just showing us how we emotionally respond to life. So it's important to go to the waters to heal those sensations that are streaming sometimes from outside of us, the streamings of the blaming, shaming, guiltings, all that lower, less than zero frequency stuff, the outer world. So when it's our inner self, this is in need of some heartfelt nurturing, right? So soothing our field, coddling our field of emotions is truly what's needed today. So just be aware of feelings that are dissipating and feelings that are bubbling through, and explore the rapids. Take notice without judging before, right? So with that, because we're moving right along, even though I had an energetic hiccup myself, but I'm still here just streaming along. Okay, we have options. So on the elemental highway, before we get to that, We've got a bear, a squirrel, and an owl. Nature. Isn't it juicy? There we are strolling. I crack myself up. So comment who you're choosing. I'll come back to this little image. Let's see. And after the bear on the elemental highway, look at that. Oh my gosh. It's a young fire horse of a day. So yeah, there's a lot of fire energy, right? It's the duality of fire. We've got big fire, we've got small fire, but fire is definitely online. So fire is our heart. It's our circulation, red blood circulation. Fire produces earth by turning nature to ash, creating nurturing elements for the soil, which is hidden in the branches of our fire. Our horse has hidden earth, yin earth, soil, hidden in the horse. And we got a big mountain that we tell our secrets to, in storage in the tiger. So maybe our secrets are hidden deep for the whole year. Just an idea. But earth is performance for our day. Earth is nurturing, it's caring. Think of nurses, but it is also our lymphatic system. So our heart may need to get some movement today, cardiovascular movement, to also get the lymphatic system moving. Out of all the systems in the body, that's kind of how I look through all the elementals as well. When I'm having a session with somebody, I always look at their chart and be like, ooh, what's playing? What's playing in the elemental field? But yeah, our lymphatic system is the only system that doesn't move on its own. We need to physically move to move our lymphatic system, where the heart pumps itself, our colon does its job, our kidneys do their job. So we have all these other things that are working except for earth, lymphatic system. We got to move. So you could actually look at this as having two racehorses at the gate, waiting to race down the racetrack. So it's this build up of energy combustion. And our day is excessive. It's almost over the top, raging fire, possibly out of control. Lots of fire there. Wet earth will soothe the fires, those inner fires, and also our outer worldly fires. Yang metal, big fire transforms big metal into something useful, heating it up. But this is a highly charismatic day, having the ability of excellence, if you will. Not that I was feeling that earlier, but however, we're here, right? Maybe just being seen throughout the entire world, the globe. You really can't get more enthusiastic than this, effortlessly. It's oozing with charisma, being famous, being an expert, possibly at being seen as an authority of something, having huge galactic confidence and courage. You're being seen from the outer world and feeling it in the inner world. So I would literally be capitalizing on this energy today. It literally is fire of the fires. So this is a very strong and bright kind of fire. It's the golden sun, the highest of the hearts. And our day is expressing very hot, way hot. So our engine, the heart, needs coolant. And yang water on the year, that is the coolant for our day. And metal, besides taking energy from fire to forge it into something useful, it also produces more of the element of water that's very needed. I'd probably more than likely go with yang metal as an element to connect with. Earth by adding water element. So visually, this would be like sitting by a river, a stream, a lake in the mountains, or sand by the beach, by the ocean. Sand, different forms of earth, right? But this is the light of the sun shining on all living things, and it is shining very bright. It's big fire, it's passionate, it's enthusiastic, it's bringing light, bright light and energy to everything that it's touching. It is the sun amplified and amplified some more. I mean, woo, it's pretty toasty. And the yang water, that amplifies the effect. It's receiving the feedback and also the reflection. So it's stoking our inner fires. And being that the sun is bright, it's cheery, it's shining light upon all of the earth's surface with so much optimism. It's very optimistic. And seeing the light in every body, possibly everything. If this was a person, I have a lot of fire in my chart, different than this. However, similar, not going to lie. I do have two horses now that I say that out loud. Yeah, anyway, this is literally seeing the light in every body, being optimistic and not seeing their shadows. I know this for a fact. I've lived this for quite a while until I got the memo myself. But it's often forgetting that some people do have dark, evil intentions and betrayal. I mean, it's so true. But water to reflect, and being that Cancer is a water sign, the foundation of our earth, our fourth house, mother, nurturing, the emotional field, our emotional foundation, with optimism in the chalice as well. So it's a fiery day of taking an action, an optimistic action, and delivering passion in the creation. But water, moving water, a creek, that really has all of the elements to kind of smooth our day, calm those fires, the heat there. So yeah, and just think of it. You could sit by a creek and you've got mineral, metals, whatever, stones, right? In nature. So you have that element, you've got the moving waters, and you've got wet soil. That would actually soothe your fires if they're combusting, which I kind of probably am going to go sit by my pool today or my creek. I got options myself. Okay, so back to our little elementals. Who chose what? Who's going with what? I am going with the bear first. So if you picked the bear, which hang on, give me a minute. The devil wears Prada. The devil. Oh, that's hilarious. But if you did choose the bear, does anybody have the bear as a totem animal? My sister does. But 15 is our mind. It's the mind playing games. The devil playing a mind game. So can you see? Hopefully you can see. I retook these pictures. That's why I'm streaming a little slower. But there's a lot going on in this here card. There is really so much happening. Seriously. So it may feel like the walls are surrounding us, forgetting the fact that we're not completely imprisoned, right? There's still a world outside of the box to get out there. The sky, you know, it's crying, it's sobbing, it's misting with rains. It's got this melodies of freedoms and beauties, super juice coming down from the clouds. But you can see our little character, her head's bowed. She's snuggled in to escape from fear, creating boundaries, walls. She's shackled, and she's got these weak threads wrapping. But the key to liberation is so close. And upon opening our eyes, looking around to see outside of the box, our ears are indifferent to any voice because we got the infatuation of the devil. So she can sense the vibration of the devil. He's dancing above her. He's controlling, instigating, suppressing her to the very bottoms, right? So these are the temptations. They're the bonds of our will. And he's outside dancing. He's laughing. He's arrogant. But he's got knowledge. And this really is what assists to be easily imprisoned of our fierce nature, our fierce soul. But the devil often refers to loss of independence, the domination of addiction, slavery, or both. Being stuck in the material kingdom, indulging in passions, choosing to stay in the darkness, feeling the despair, and feeling limited in our choices. So the devil really does play with our desires. He's tempting us. He breaks and he seeks freedom from not treating himself like a doll. I always think of like a voodoo doll. I said that out loud. But just looking far behind the material bonds, the temptations, pessimism, darkness, assuming, assumptions. People assume a lot, right? Greed, lust, self-doubt, addiction, hopelessness. But what I authentically love about this particular deck that I play with, besides the fact that it's really ethereal, fairy-like, and otherworldly, it's bringing in all of the elementals. It's got it all. So there's a lot of impressive detail in all of these messages. But in the devil, we can see this woman imprisoned. She's imprisoned because she was too greedy, regardless of everything, to get the power that her heart desired. But not really. It was forces of adversity outside of her. So they wall her in this confinement. It's very thin. It's just a form. It's an illusion. And the handcuffs that are attached to that thin thread, if you can see that in the card, it could be broken with just very little strength, not to mention that there's a key right above her head, if you can see that. But she's bent down. She's panicked, and she doesn't want to dare to face everything. She let the greed and being a coward just really take control of herself. But the wall is the embodiment of humanoid figures, right? With the nuances of panic, helplessness, regret, longing for freedom. but she's allowed the devil to be her master, controlling her, trapping her heart in its sticky, cold, kind of frightened perspective. So she's kind of plunged herself voluntarily into a trap where there are the power, the ambition, the tempting desires, possibly ruthlessness. So did she exchange her heart for the devil to achieve these things? But the devil, as for the devil, it's the embodiment of a cold-hearted, intelligent, wise, confident person who knows what he will and have to do. He always has a plan for everything he does, and he always understands what his prey wants to lure them in to automatically fall into his trap. And he knows how to control them cleverly, making them stay so that he can get them to follow his wishes. Always foreseeing and always judging things correctly. He's careful. He's detailed. He's strong, ambitious, powerful. The devil's in the details, right? But he's also dangerous. He's full of temptation. But he's miserable because he's lonely. Kind of reminds me of Hades and Pluto being alone in the underworld. But, you know, a lot of people assume that the devil is a bad message. It's like when the devil messages, it's our job to look at the surrounding elements and determine whether we are a victim or we are the devil. So are you wise enough, or are you in the middle of a temptation? You know, who said ambition isn't great? Who said that putting your heart aside to wisely complete your work is wrong? It's all about balance, right? That we create success for ourselves, and however, we don't want to let those successes control us like the devil, making us heartless. So in the image, it kind of indicates the longer the woman lives with and the closer she gets to the devil, the less humane part of her becomes what becomes. It's the naked truths are getting revealed over time, through time and space. But this also refers to being tormented, the emptiness in our day-to-day life, in real life. So we should live and set high ambitions and goals and strive for our goals, keep learning, always spending time listening to our heart instead of chasing after frivolous things. So it's kind of a warning as well that maybe we're trying something that's not going to bring us anything more than frustration or depression. However, we can still escape from this vicious cycle. If we try to follow the old path, we're going to just sink deeper. So carrying a lot of ambition and immersing ourselves within those ambitions. That's interesting. Getting a streaming message. Am I all right? Looks like it. So yeah, just immersing ourselves in the ambition. Just no matter how hard we try, we often still feel stuck in the feeling. So you may have realized the dangers in your lifestyle, but you have no way out. You have no boundaries because of those ambitious personality. We can freely express ourselves without any obstacles. So the advice is kind of that we need to review our lifestyle, adjust it, so we can achieve personal desires. If you really make that effort, respond differently. It's also an awakening of possibility of feeling mentally tortured, or maybe it's having a feeling of unreachable desires or dreams, and you just wake up after a long, frustrating dream, getting angry at yourself and everything around you. It's those bad, unhealthy habits that appear. Maybe, you know, I would suggest that you list what you really need and what you really need to give up, and learn how to let go and maintain a healthier lifestyle. That's going to be a way where we can regain our confidence. Just eating better, right? You feel better when you eat better. Just do what you think is right and identify it with the most objective outlook, mountaintop point of view, to get back to who you authentically really are. So this also brings positive things. It's kind of, you know, it's time to be strong, act decisively, even at times when we're forced to put our emotions aside and to fight uncompromisingly, sometimes with others, to win. We own a greater ideal and ambition than we often think to do that, right? So the devil, I think the devil does wear Prada. It's just revisiting those aspects of ourselves to maintain clarity and balance. The devil wears Prada. Okay, who chose the squirrel? I think I got that right. Yep, the 10 of Pentacles. Which, the 10, this is manifestation. It's loving and trusting what we are manifesting. And the manifestation has come to fruition. So you can see that she is covered. She's got layers of silk. She's got majestic jewels. She's covered in gold and gems. And you can sense that she's just, you know, a jewel herself with clothing and her outfits. You know, she's clearly showing off her wealth, the mask of society about a well-off, rich life, right? But she's always looking for ways to kind of withdraw, to go inward, even with the greedy dragon that she's laying upon, right? Hoarding the wealth down into the valley. And the winds, the whispering winds, the ancient secrets surrounding all the woods, the trees sending messages, right? With their roots and just covering up the gold below, covering them with leaves, the nature realm, trees, shielding it from the dragon. Kind of feels like a nature dragon myself, but the world is full of colorful frames. The world's full of art and wealth and jewels, but she's holding a peach, which is the Chinese symbol of immortality and also prosperity. So this is like traditional. It's being traditional. It's being established on normal standards and understanding sometimes that understanding that mask better than others. So because it was the rules that made it possible for her to reach this present social status. There's no random luck here. So she's always a model in life out into the world, like the colorful stained glasses around her, creating, you know, it's created by skillful hands. The capacity to be that skillful artisans. You know, it kind of reminds me of when I've gone through Italy, this murals, the stained glass murals, the rugs, but it's the appearance and it's just sustained artistic. It's a process, right? Manifesting needs to be more properly viewed rather than something fleeting out in nature. But she knows that the results and the positions are kind of a sequence of her own hard work, her firm beliefs. The message kind of shows us the inheritance of wealth, our financial desires, enduring forever with security, cherishing the luxury and the luck that has come to us even now. So this is the outcome the people really want to receive in the material world, which is the result of a long-term effort, goals, and one day bearing the fruits, becoming the final reward, like the conclusion, the outcome with great ability. And it gives ourselves this more sustainable position. It's a benefit. So this is prosperity, abundance, success, long-lasting, sustaining traditions, family, comfort, money, wealth, stability, connection, happiness, inheritance, legacy. So this really is a positive sign. And it might even imply that your material, physical world expectations are going to be met to the point or beyond what you may have ever thought. So it's like everything's going to be extremely advantageous, like take advantage, but not. It'll be easy. It's the assurance and safety in all the forms that are being maintained beyond the requirements, the unseen realm. So it tells us that we will feel happy, but be grateful for a variety of things, whether it's relationships, a financial situation, health. All these things tend to be more positive, optimistic, and just doing our best to make sure that we share what we have to the less fortunate, just being grateful, right? Even if it's just some kind of advice for somebody who needs comfort, we do reap often what we sow. So this is a great card for the diversity in abundance, good things in life coming to us. But it does imply a financial increase and enjoying the feeling of satisfaction that comes with that sensation with this card. And also referring to inheritance. So this is family, traditional values, kind of a message. A business, maybe a family secret is maybe transmitted from generation to generation, but it really is an affirmation of financial abundance. And in some cases, it's a message that we may be influenced, which happens a lot, by family routines and those habits. And sometimes we're affected easily by our own family culture, which often creates a challenge that if we want to exceed, we often have to overcome that. It's kind of like being the black sheep. But it's a message that shows that all of our efforts are going to be rewarded, or they already have been rewarded. It's also the importance of family. We're in Cancer, the happiness during this time. But it's largely related to finance, traditions, family, the symbol of financial success, stability in life. But it's also, in some categories, an assumption that our decisions are going to bring us positive things to our family members. Our achievements that we gain are going to assist our family members. So this is all about loving and trusting and really bringing things to manifestation and holding the frequency of the message to bring it into fruition, to manifest in the physical, energy to matter. That's kind of what's happening. Okay, who chose the owl? Did you choose the owl? You get the Knight of Swords, which I think we had earlier this week, right? But I feel like we had the Knight of Swords. However, the Knight of Swords today is otherworldly. So swords are air, swords are cutting things away. The Knight. I love the mystical and the magic of these cards. But this is a brave hero. He's daring, headstrong, going out into battles, protecting his beliefs. He's straightforward. He's a person who is straightforward, speaking directly his point, being pointed in words. So hiding something is the thing he almost can never do. So this could be true honesty, loyalty, but it's also lacking delicacy and thoughtlessness. This is yang metal energy, actually. It's kind of what it reminds me of. Somebody with a lot of yang metal energy kind of has a scratchy, offensive voice. But as a knight, this is not allowing his emotions to affect the link that connected him to his existing goals. Emotions have turned into a strange kind of slimy, blurry concept compared to what was considered clarity. So it's always kind of this premise that created space for fear and anxiety. So our emotionless knight is a fearsome person because he's never tormented by fear or control. Rather invincible, he has no definition of failure in his cognitive, otherworldly dictionary, and he wouldn't turn his head once he got into it, right? Kind of reminds me of little Aries energy, only because my son's an Aries as well, because he understands that there was no more suitable choice, right, than a victory in that moment. So the Knight is a character of an authoritarian kind of person, riding on the king of the birds on his back, gliding through every battlefield together like sharp spears, rushing away. So he's the seeker through each layer of the sky with the sword in his hand, the wings wide open. Kind of reminds me of the legends of Arthur in a way, the round table, the knights. You can see the storm brewing according to his wrath, his energy, his frequency, and just suffered by the chaos created by this winged army in the skies, right? The turbulence like an airplane. But he's rising above. He can see through it. He can cut through the chaos. So his sword is serving as a guide for those to follow him, calling him out of the night's abyss, lifting him up, the spirits of the sky, the cloud spirits, just granting him sight of the hawk and swiftness of a sparrow, insight of a raven, the brave heart of a beating hummingbird, and just rising above with the grace on the wings of a swan, which you can see, and guiding him, which I find curious, with the visions of the wisdom of the owl. So if you picked the owl, you got the wisdom of the owl, right? You couldn't make this stuff up. But this is being straightforward, or maybe you're in an unexpected situation, new experiences, new people, quick solutions, quick-witted, ambition, trust, spiritual challenges maybe, determination, the energy of Mercury, so it's communication, endurance, using our strength, our courage, our perseverance. But unlike some messages that belong to the swords, this message here really brings about a source of optimistic, cheerful energy. The message of the night often means that someone or something worth looking forward to is actually coming to us. It's implying that the sources of, not sorcery, sources of spiritual, emotional, physical energy are really rising to their peak. So if you're waiting for news about something or someone, then it seems you're going to get what you want to hear. So this night can come with lots of activities, possibly traveling, meeting new friends, completing something, hitting the finish line. So you don't tend to feel like waiting for anything to come, and it's that good. So let's follow the call of our heart, but this also represents distraction in some ways. And it may mean that somebody will come into your life and ruin the peace, your foundation. It even kind of warns that you may be getting in trouble by these people. And the troublemaker here also may be ourselves. So knowing that it just represents an aggressive knight who does everything he wants and doesn't listen to the other, he's not the type to suppress his impatience. So it may appear like a warning to avoid such people at all costs, or you may avoid being such that kind of a person yourself. So it also carries positive meanings that would gain confidence, optimism. I'm going with that. Possibly we might need to try a little harder before our chances are lost. However, this message also implies financial matters are going to be solved smoothly with some persuasive ability. So, in general, spirituality, the Knight of Swords, is showing us that we are full of life, we have the energy to accomplish our goals, and we are almost uninterested in the difficulties that we encounter. The energetic hiccups, they start to make us laugh. Interference. The only thing we know is that we have to fight harder sometimes, the interference, right? It's like, how bad do we really want it? So, it's also on the other side, kind of a warning sigil, if you will, that if we're excessively determined, it can blind us sometimes and cause those unfortunate consequences on the other side. So it's not good to be in danger without being prepared. And there are times when we are not prepared for what we want to achieve either, right? It's like being the hare instead of the tortoise when it comes to growth. We're too fast. And then the tower comes fumbling down. So it can appear very long, but we can learn the lessons and overcome the problem. Be solution-based and driven. Okay, that's kind of where I'm going with that. Any comment? Okay, so Tonya, because you were full of comments yesterday, I pulled a card for you, a collective card. The universe is a globe, right? The Queen of Swords. So she has a sharp sword. She's an old queen. She's slashing through lies and deceptions, the poisons, right? Always smelling sweet and wanting to pour into those weak hearts. But she's somebody who is straightforward. She radiates intelligence from within. She's got her winged guardians. She's sending them out into the world, exploring with what they saw. They've got these woven messages, this floating lines into the language of the soul, a metaphysical transformation, making things gradually escape the shell of samsara. That's the cycle of death and rebirth to which life in the material world is kind of bound to. So this is pure white to the point of dazzling our eyes, a color that's true, it's clear, it's encapsulated in a kind of flat balance of zero compromise. But this is also the color of far distances, sometimes with the owl. I'm not going to go that, but sometimes it's just to accept the truth. People need to learn how to cut off the mask, the mediocre tricks of our everyday life. And another way to leave the past and throw away that thick cocoon, right? And dig deep into the search for our true authentic appearance, how we are seen authentically, and to put on, to face the whole world. But the queen really is this intelligent, loyal, witty, humorous woman with a lot of intuition. So she's able to recognize the exact value of the world around her, herself, and her experiences. So she always is reflecting, looking deep inside when she turns her eyes into the mirror, reflecting exactly what is needed, necessary. And then a stream of light kind of spreads throughout the fragile, glowing soul in the language of flowers as well, because we got flowers in this card. The purple of the lilies, that's a symbol of our inner strength. And the image of the daisies, that's symbolizing truth, authenticity. So this is honesty, downrightness, experience, having a strong will, a sharp mind, sarcasm too, ambition, an analytical ability, possibly an aloof attitude, maybe a cognitive ability, profound insight, stuff like that. Having a fair assessment, communicating, teaching, independence, common sense, being determined, but it's also concentration and skill. So the queen often refers to a woman in our lives. This is somebody we should possibly take seriously. She may have black hair, black eyes, but it doesn't imply human being either. Sometimes it might just be who we are, telling us to be strong and honest in whatever situation we're in to meet our needs. So you may need to push yourself to be stronger, utilizing your instincts. They're working, they're online, and we already know what we want and we need. Now we have to pursue them. It's the action of the pursuit, right? However, at the same time, being aware of other people's limitations. So it's this strong energy flow that does make some people feel disturbed when we're in the flow. But again, it's this wise, intelligent woman, right? I almost said a crone earlier, but she's a queen. It could be a woman involved in your life who's possibly intending to create chaos and trouble. So she wants to intervene in your business. This may be a warning of this person's influence in your life. Sometimes it does appear in negative form, but it's showing the importance of making judgments based on reasons, not our emotions. Sometimes it's insensitivity, but this may be a time when you actually feel lonely, losing confidence within your surroundings. But it's honestly, it's the power, it's the intelligence. So it's just reminding you to consider all of the aspects of a problem before you make a decision, take notes. But it also is an idea that you should independently think and act on your own, relying on your own reason when you're making the decisions, and minimize the emotional interference, which I find curious because we're in the season of emotions. But compassion, empathy, they can cause us to make the wrong decision. So just focus on being straightforward, fair. So you want others to be able to treat you honestly. And if being honest can hurt you, right? Sometimes it does. Sometimes honesty is hurtful, but it's necessary. But yeah, so she's combining the positive energy of the element of air, the swords, this inner focus of being a queen. So it's like always being able to rely on her to know exactly what's going to happen. She's passionate. She's sincere. She lives on her commitment to her authenticity. So lies and jokes are not her concern because she's not easily deceived. So she's experienced all of the things in the world, the good, the bad, and the ugly as well. So kind of curious there. But being that this is an excellent day for creativity, sharing love, receiving love from ourselves, if there ever was a day for a play date with yourself, that frequency would be today. So I say do something loving, raising your own innate self-love vibration, whatever that looks like for each and every one of us. I took myself out on a date last night. I went to a movie just with my own sacred self. It was magical. So with an affirmation to get us on our way, I would seriously affirm the loving feeling inside of us. I would literally affirm the loving feeling inside of myself. Ooh, nurturing that inner baby and being in touch with our feelings, our heart, and our sacral. Our online, our relational to our feels, our heart center. The moon's in Aries, taking our actions out to the moon and returning with acts of self-love, kindness. So I would utilize, like I said, I would probably go sit by a river and connect with the elementals. But you can hum or lam today, the sacral and the heart center. But maybe bring the lam, the sacral, to the hum, the heart, circulating in the heart's chalice. I would possibly be chanting that today so we can heal and nurture our feelings. So with all of that, InShalla and Ashe, thanks for tuning in and participating in my energetic hiccup. Blessings.